Hello and welcome to Chaotic Riffs Magazine. We can be found on the web at www.chaoticriffs.com. My name is Jason J. Rock Houston, and it's my great honor and pleasure to be speaking with Pina Kaplan. Pina is the manager of the band Voodoo, Moonshine. I recently interviewed the guitar player Jeff, who's also the founding member. And so why don't we start the interview off, Pina? Tell us a little bit about yourself and how it is you first came to manage Voodoo Moonshine.
Well, actually, it was kind of like a fluke thing. I guess they say when one door closes, another door opens.
That's usually the...
I was a fundraising sales rep for Yankee Candle. I was part of their fundraising division.
Oh, wow.
And so 2 years ago, when COVID came into effect, they decided to shut their doors.
Okay. Wow.
So with that, I was pretty much, out of a job.
Yeah, wow.
And that pretty much kept me really busy. It kept me, like, fundraising sales kept me really, really busy, especially with Yankee Candle, because that was a product that sold itself, and everybody wanted it, So it made my life good at the time. Mm-hmm. And with that, I kind of knew prior to that they were going to close their doors. So I started, I started a course in real estate back in November.
Oh, wow.
I kind of had a feeling that something was going down. So with that, I was a big fan of Pedro. Okay. And his cover band, so I would follow Pedro and his cover band. And then he came into, Voodoo Moonshine, and I went to a couple, I think they did one show in Florida at the Abbey, which was their first debut, with Voodoo Moonshine, so I happened to be there.
Wow.
And so then after that, it was, they were getting ready to do, their live studio at the Oviedo. They were getting ready to do a video shoot there.
Okay.
And they were looking for people to come out, to be extras for the video. So Jeff had messaged me and said, "Hey, do you want to come out? Bring your friends or whatever." I'm like, "Oh yeah, absolutely. Who wouldn't want to be in a video,
Yeah.
So then with that, that was right in the beginning of COVID, and then that's when they started shutting everything down, and he got word that they weren't allowed to have anybody there at the video shoot.
Oh, wow.
So with that, he said, we basically want to get together, afterwards, after we're done, because we could probably live stream it, at the restaurant or whatever. So he put me in charge of finding a place to get everybody together afterwards. So I did, and then after they got done, they all came there, but for whatever reason, I guess it couldn't be live streamed. I guess they were having technical difficulties.
Wow.
So with that, and actually that was the first night that Jeff and I met face to face in person.
Okay.
And then one thing led to another, and we just started talking, and then I had said to him, I said, well, if you need help with the band, let me know, because I'm out of work and I have all the time in the world right now.
Oh, wow.
So that's basically how I came into this. And I think in the beginning he probably didn't know how much I could do or how much he can trust me, So as we started to progress, he started giving me a little bit more and a little bit more to do, because I guess he could see what I was capable of,
Yeah, so, sounds like it. And I'd imagine your experience with fundraising too. I mean, you got to have a lot of business savvy and organizational skills, so that probably helps you managing a band as well. That experience.
Absolutely, and that's why I said to him, because it's very much the same, even though, I told him, I said, I really don't know much about the music industry, but I know about the sales part, and I know about getting the name and the brand out there. That's what I do, and that's what I can help you do. I said, as long as you're willing to teach me the music business, which he said, I'm willing to do that, but I basically pretty much have been in my own business my whole life, like with my dad and my brothers. And then I at like 22 years old, I owned my own card and gift store with my sister.
What a great story! Wow.
Yeah, so I've pretty much had my own business like my whole life.
Now let me ask you, Pina. By the time you started working as a band's manager, had they already had their record deal lined up, or did you help with that?
No, they didn't. They didn't have any of that lined up. I can't really say. I mean, Jeff pretty much was like working with that, and then I became, involved with it. I mean, he would discuss it with me, and then, because Jeff is he's pretty business savvy as well.
Sure.
And he's all about the business,
Yeah.
So I can't really say that I had a big part of that, but we did discuss it, and we did decide, to move forward with it together. So
what was the point?
I would have to say it's both of us.
What was the point in time when you guys kind of knew that Dark Star Records was a good entity to work with? Because I got to tell you, if you heard my interview with Jeff, I mean, that's one of the things I was saying. I mean, Dark Star Records, they're kind of an up-and-coming record label, but they got a lot of, first of all, they got a lot of great artists on their roster, and second of all, I noticed the way they promote the hell out of their new releases and their bands, and I think that's part of a reason for Voodoo Moonshine's success, because you got a label that's really behind the band.
Right, yeah, I mean, they do a good job, promoting us, with getting, distribution, getting the CD out. I mean, they also, one of our songs is in a movie coming out in October.
Wow.
Which that is pretty cool, so that's going to be a pretty cool thing to promote as well.
Yeah.
And then they just did the, that Ukraine, CD and the shirts, where all the proceeds went to, I think 100% went to Ukraine, if I'm not mistaken. And we have a song on that CD as well. So they do a pretty good job.
How cool is that? And I mean, I was just talking to the drummer Chris Moore from one of the other bands on the label, this band called Vante, and very much like Voodoo Moonshine, besides being on the same label, I mean, that band is getting all kinds of awards and recognition, and I think, I mean, earlier this year on the same label they came out with Tony Martin's latest solo. He's the former Black Sabbath singer, and I tell you, on this release, Tony Martin, I think, has got more attention than any time he was ever in Black Sabbath, which is just amazing, because it's a great album, and they've been doing a great job promoting the hell out of it.
Yeah, they have. I mean, I've been seeing them do a lot of promotion with Tony Martin as well, and actually all the other bands. I know Vante, they've been promoting pretty well. I think there's Angelus as well. They have a lot of bands up and coming. So hopefully, I'm sure you know as well as I do a little bit about the Voodoo Moonshine story now that you've been working with the band, which is this: a lot of people, because they're just all of a sudden hearing about the band, think that Voodoo Moonshine is a new band. But even from the first interview I did with Jeff, he was telling me the band itself's been around a number of years. He says this is kind of the current lineup, but like a lot of bands had many ups and downs, and he's back with a new lineup, and they're getting, I guess, all kinds of attention, Voodoo Moonshine, like they never got before. And all this, so to a lot of people it seems like this band is coming out of nowhere, but getting all this like overnight success. That's not really the case, but what is true is even in the most recent interview Jeff did with me, he's talking about how the band recently received all these great awards, or has been nominated for awards, and for a band that hasn't been around, or has been around that long, to finally start getting recognized like this is just, I mean, very fantastic. Yeah. Well, actually, I think when you did the interview with him, we were nominated, but since then we've won 2 gold awards, which was for Single of the Year and Band of the Year.
Yeah, that's something.
Which is pretty amazing because, you know, they could have got a bronze or a silver, but instead they took home 2 golds. And I think they were the only band to do that, or one of a few that came home with 2 golds. So that in itself speaks volumes, you know. So people are noticing their talent, which is great, you know, because they are
talented
all 4 of those guys are very talented.
Oh, sure.
Guys, you know, they truly are.
Yeah, and see, in both interviews I did with Jeff, he was telling me about. I was asking, you know, about his guitar playing and who influenced him in that, and we talked a little bit about that. But he's telling me, you know, honestly, he says, I think of myself more as a songwriter. For me, he says, anyways, it's about the song, what fits the song, and he was telling me that the band's been through, you know, a number of lineups, but this is the lineup that's getting the most attention. And he made your point that you know, Voodoo Moonshine is not just his band. He says everybody in the band kind of brings something to the table, and that's probably a huge reason he was telling me for the band's, you know, success right now is because everybody in the band is really super talented.
And I would have to agree with that. And actually, he's pretty humble when it comes to
I must
himself.
agree. Yeah, he really is.
Yeah, he doesn't. You know, he doesn't believe how talented he really is, but he truly is, you know. But I would have to agree with him there that all 4 of them do bring something special to the band in itself. Absolutely.
And Pina, I got to tell people listening to this, who are going to be listening to this, in case you're wondering why are they doing an interview with the band's manager, and I'll tell you, there's a great little backstory to the interview we're doing today, which is this: the last interview I did with Jeff was a great interview, and then Pina hit me up, and she was telling me, hey Jason, great interview, I love the interview with Jeff, except for one thing. Would you mind changing up some of the photos? And we weren't really able to do that only because you know, it's a process as far as getting these interviews posted, and once they're up, it's kind of hard to change their stuff. But anyways, so we got to talking through email, and I was impressed with that because she's telling me, you know, great interview, but you know, I'd really love. I'm going to send you some pictures, and let's see if you can use those. You know, down the line, or if you're able to fix this or whatever. And so I thought, first of all, that's a pretty good manager. First of all, that because when I do these interviews, not a lot of time the band manager even reaches out to me. So I thought, hey, that's pretty cool that she took the time to reach out to me, and she cared enough about the band she manages to say, hey, here's some more recent photos. And the reason you were giving me also as well, one of the photos you used was, you know, one of the guys is no longer in the band. And see. And talking to you today, Pina, I'll tell you, a lot of times what I do is, most of the time I just ask people, whoever I'm interviewing, hey, do you mind if I go on your Facebook page and post some photos to post along? Oh, sure, no problem. Now there are some cases where people tell me, you know, I'd rather have a publicist send you some official photos, or I'll send you some photos later and use those. And I'm always happy to do that. So part of the reason we're interviewing managers, I thought, pretty cool that she even reached out to me, and pretty cool that you're looking out for your band that way.
I always do. I mean, there's always things that I find that need correcting or something, and I'll message them and say, hey, can you change this? Or hey, can you fix this? I'm always, I don't know, there's always some things that I find, you know, and I want to promote this band, you know, I don't want to promote what was in the past, you know what I mean? We're moving forward with the guys that we have now, and that's the way it needs to be, you know?
Yeah, sure. And see, the thing with that too, I got to tell you, in doing these interviews and posting them, I don't know if you've ever experienced this yourself, even just as a fan checking out bands on the web and that. But a lot of times when I'm looking for these photos to post with the interviews I do, I can't believe, like, even especially a lot of the newer bands, they might not even have a band photo up, or it might be like 1 or 2 photos only. I'm thinking, oh my God, the photos I got up here kind of not really going to do the trick, but you got to use what you got, I guess. And then the other thing with that is, a lot of times I think the way people even respond to these interviews that are posted on the internet, honestly I do think a lot of times it has to do with the photos, you know, if they look you know, unique, or if they look really need, as opposed to just a plain boring photo. You know, you'd be amazed just based on the photo, the number of clicks an interview will or will not get.
Right, the attention that it grabs. And I mean, that's one thing I have to say with Jeff. Like, when we go do a video shoot, we're doing a photo shoot as well. So we're always getting one step ahead, and there's always plenty of pictures and so on. And one thing, I mean, that's what I do. I mean, I post on all their social media, so I always make sure that there's always updated stuff and, you know, up and coming things. You know, so I'm also, you know, doing their promoting on all their social media as well. So,
and see, I'll be honest. I'll be honest with you, Pina. You know, through our conversation, just even through the email and setting the interview up for today, I really did appreciate you reaching out to me. And so, but one thing I learned from that is, okay, anytime I'm going to be interviewing anybody from Voodoo Moonshine, I will either ask the person I'm interviewing, or I'll reach out to Pina and say, okay, why don't you guys go ahead and send me the most recent set of photos that you'd like me to use. So I know to do that now, and that's a good thing. And see, part of the problem too, I will honestly say, and this is a good thing, I think, when I went on, I got some of the photos, I think, off of Jeff's personal Facebook page, and I went to the band's Facebook page, and the good thing is, when I was looking at photos, I thought, these are all great looking photos. I mean, any photo I pick, I think, is going to get people's attention. So I got to give that to you and the band, because unlike a lot of some of the bands I've been on, their websites don't have great photos. You guys, everything you post is kind of flashy looking, and that's probably part of the reason too that the band's getting so much attention. I mean, I'm sure it has to do with their great sounding music and everybody's talent in the band. It's got a great sounding record, but you know, you got to have all these things that kind of you know, fit into place. And I think besides you, Pina, we also got a lot of great other people behind the scenes. I mean, the first time I interviewed Jeff, I mean, you guys were working with this publicist named Michael Branville, and just to let people know who he is, he's worked with everybody from Kiss and Britney Spears to Accept, and he's a great guy. He's given me a lot of great interviews over the years, and I know since then, when I did the second interview, you guys are also with another great publicist, which is the folks at Chipster PR. Chip has also given me a lot of great interviews over years, and this is just one example of you guys kind of moving up the ladder. I mean, Chip is.
But actually,
I was just gonna say, Chip is a publicist, for example, for everybody from Michael Schenker to Judas Priest. So, I mean, Voodoo Moonshine, you know, maybe you haven't really heard of him yet, but you're starting to, and that's why.
Yeah, well, I have to say, I mean, working with Michael Branville was great. I mean, he did, you know, a great job for us.
Sure.
And then moving forward, you know, we had the opportunity to work with Chip. So we figured, you know, let's give it a shot, because he knows a lot of big names as well.
Sure.
So, you know, we had nothing to lose, you know, and everything to gain. So we're working with Chip right now. And, you know, our main focus is booking, you know, more shows. You know, that's what we want to do, is get these guys out there so that way they can be seen, you know, and playing more shows. That's our main focus right now.
And as I'm sure you know from kind of just learning as you go, Pina, like even all the years I've been in the business doing these interviews with bands and stuff, I've interviewed, you know, established artists, up and coming bands. I've interviewed some guy, you know, the two brothers that were in Blue Oyster Cult, Joe and Albert Bouchard. I interviewed great up and coming bands like Voodoo Moonshine, and that's the thing. I believe everybody's got a story to tell, so it doesn't matter who wants to do an interview with me. If they're willing to do an interview, sure, why not? You know.
Yep, I agree, and here I am, right?
Yeah. Because you're part of the story, believe it or not. And the thing too is, even though you get a great opportunity to move on and work with somebody, maybe you can get the band out there a little more. You remember the people along the way that help you, like Michael Branville, I will tell you, is no slouch either. I mean, I'm grateful for all the great interviews he's given me too, and because I think part of the reason, because he's seen that I've done a great job interviewing the bands that he's given me to interview, and that I try to do my best to be very appreciative of that and show that. I recently had an opportunity where he told me, hey, would you be interested in, because he is currently working with Gene Simmons on, he's got a soda brand, a root beer company called Moneybag Soda. He said, would you be interested in interviewing somebody from his soda company? I said, sure, why not? And neither Michael nor me knew it, but when I did that interview, I interviewed the CEO from a company. Guess who they had along for a ride to do the interview? Gene Simmons himself.
Really? Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
okay.
And I'm a huge Kiss fan, so that's the thing I found in my own experience. Make connections, be appreciative, and then like Chipster and folks at Chipster PR. I mean, since I first got into the business, they've been giving me bands and musicians to interview. So that's been a great, contact. And same thing with Michael and some other people I've made contact with along the way.
Yeah, and I agree with you, because that's a big part of sales for me. It's like you never turn anything down, because that small thing could lead to that one big thing, So you don't know, that small sale could lead to that big sale. So you never turn anything down, because you never know what's going to come from it, And that's basically how, I look at this. You just got to keep moving and moving on up, and keep moving forward.
And so, Pina, you're involved with this great band, but how surprised were you when you seen the record start to kind of get the recognition and attention it's been getting? I mean, it has to be an amazing feeling for you and the band.
It truly is. I mean, it truly is. I believe this band deserves this and so much more, because I believe they're that good, and they just need to be seen and heard,
Yeah.
I do believe that their day is coming,
I think it's here.
Continue on the path that we're on, and we'll get there eventually.
I mean, I think you're on the huge stepping stone forward, and it can only go up, we hope. And just in the story Jeff told me, that he's had many tragedies and many ups and downs, but he's still here doing it, and he's got a new group of guys. Now on that front, you say it's all about the current band, and that makes sense, and I understand. But if people wanted to get any of the previous releases, are they able to do that, or do you guys plan to?
Yes, actually, they can still purchase his first CD, Decade of Decay. That's on our website at www.voodoomoonshinerocks.com. That they can purchase, and then we also have our limited edition CDs on our website as well. The only one that they can't get on our website right now is Bottom of the Barrel, because that's through Dark Star Records.
Okay.
But if they go to the website, I do have the Bottom of the Barrel CD on there, where it has the link to Dark Star Records for them to purchase that CD.
Yeah, and as a manager, how involved are you with the merchandise? I mean, do you have any involvement as far as coming up with T-shirts?
Are you kidding me?
Well,
are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I do it all.
Yeah.
Actually, because Jeff bought the heat press, so I make all of the shirts.
Wow,
for the
cool.
band. I mean, I make all the product, like everything that you see, I've made myself.
So that's pretty cool, because you keep it all in-house that way, and less money to spend for one thing, less money going out. It goes back into the band. And and so you must be a pretty artistic person as far as being able to come with T-shirt designs and all that.
Well, I don't design the shirts.
Okay.
I mean, we have Jeff DeBarry, who's our graphic designer.
Oh, wow.
Artist. So he'll design them.
Wow.
Or take it from a picture that we had, and then he'll design something there, and then we'll be like, oh, hey, that'll look good in a shirt, or he'll suggest it and say, hey, this looks good in a shirt. So then what I do is I print them out, and then I'll put them on the shirt. But I've also made the pick bracelets and necklaces.
Wow.
I've made the koozies, coasters, mouse pads.
That's great.
8x10 pictures of the guys.
I mean, it's
lanyards, everything.
It's almost like they do, maybe not quite on the same extreme level, but the way they've merchandised the hell out of Kiss over the years, But that's great, and I gotta tell you, I mean, as far as dropping names, that's another name, Jeff DeBarry. Me and him go way back. I mean,
okay.
I've never.
Great guy.
I've never met him face to face, but I'll tell you, I started out as years ago. Me and him were, if you can believe it, friends on MySpace, and initially I hooked up with him because I was just a fan of his music. He was putting out these independent solo CDs. If you know anything about Jeff, he got started years ago as a musician in the music business as a drummer, and then
oh really?
and as time went on, he started putting out these solo music where he would play guitar, these solo CDs, guitar, sing lead vocal, write the songs, the drums. But the drums was his primary. He'd do keyboards. Everything on the album he would record. So I was a fan of his music at first, and then come to find out that he designed all his album covers. Great graphic artist, and in the last several years he's been creating album covers and stuff for other big name artists, and even Ron Keel I think he did an album cover for.
Yes.
And I love to see that kind of success. And he's got his radio show that he's been doing for the last 4 or 5 years. I don't know if you guys have been on that, but he's
yes. Actually, he just interviewed, I think, Jeff not too long ago. I think like a month or two ago. And that was his second interview with Jeff. And then I know he constantly plays our music all the time. He's a huge supporter of the band as well. So he's a great guy, great graphic artist, and everything. So he does most of our work. Yeah.
Oh, that's great to hear, because he's really great at what he does. And see, like I said, he started out as a musician himself and never reached kind of that level of success, but he kind of put it out as an independent artist, got a little bit of attention, and he's done this other stuff kind of as a result of all that. And I love to see when people have that, kind of are getting those opportunities to kind of live out their dream, and he's kind of done it on his own. Which is great to be able to kind of be an independent artist and do all. And then recently, like last couple, he's gotten into doing this digital artwork where like just these beautiful drawings or paintings. I don't know what you'd call them, of like famous musicians.
I've seen them because he's been posting them lately, and they look really cool. Yep, I've been checking them out as well.
He's done like one of Randy Rhoads, I think. Eddie Van Halen, Frankie Banelli, the drummer from Quiet Riot, who passed away a few years. Oh, I'm glad to hear you guys are working. He's a super talent in his own right. You got a lot.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. That's why Voodoo Moonshine's getting all this attention, because you got all the right people behind the scenes working with the band.
Yeah, we do. We have everybody in place, and as long as everybody does their part, then we're good.
Yeah. As you can see, Pina, I could talk all day to people, anybody about music and that, but I know you're busy, so we're going to get ready to wrap it up. Before we do, though, I want to ask you, with the band getting this kind of attention right now, I imagine you're going to be working the current album up for a while, or are you guys already thinking about the next album?
They already have, I think, like 5 or 6 songs done for the next album already. So they're already working on it.
And
so,
you think,
not sure when it'll be released, but they are working on it. I know they're planning on going into the studio in September.
Wow.
To work on that. So I don't know if they'll get all 5 or 6 songs in. They might work on 3 or 4, but it's already in the works. So, yep.
Wow. And so, like when you help with the merchandise and all this other stuff in conjunction for the band, do you get like a flat fee as a manager, or do you get different fees for different projects you work on with the band?
That's a good question.
And I'm just asking.
I guess it all depends on what it is. It all depends. Like merch might be a certain fee, and
I got you.
Management might be something else.
I got you. I just asking only because it's one of those things like I've always kind of wondered about. I wonder how a manager earns their money. Do they get paid for one thing or what? So when we talk to people like that, we just kind of like to get their story, and that's why we did this today. So I'm sure I'll be interviewing Jeff again down the line, but in the meantime, like you like the way this interview did, if you ever want to do another one about, and it could even be about, just to give you an idea, I have another series I do for the same site called On the Record. Like if you ever want to talk to me about another band that just was one of your favorite bands, about your favorite album, we could do that in detail. Okay. So just consider that, because you're part of a family too now. So if you ever want to talk,
thank you.
Feel free to.
And can I just do a shout out to my daughter?
Sure.
Today is my one daughter, Angela's birthday, and then actually on Saturday was my daughter Brianna's birthday as well. So I just wanted to wish them both a very happy birthday.
Wow, that's kind of close together. So do you usually give them one party, or do you have to give them two separate parties?
Well, actually, I would say they probably would get three because
okay.
I'd have I'd have a cake for one on one day.
I got you.
And then I'd have the party with the family in the middle.
Okay.
In the middle, and then have a cake for the other on her birthday.
Oh, that's cool.
So they get three. That's the kind of mother I was. I'm like, I didn't feel right about not doing anything on their actual birthday, so I had to give them a cake and make them their special dinner or something.
So so you're a cool mom. I mean, I'll just tell you real quick a funny story. My grandson his birthday's on Christmas Day, if you can believe it. So you can imagine people give him, oh, this is your Christmas present, this is your birthday present. Thanks.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Christmas Day. Yeah. I don't know that I like Christmas Day. You know. So or either that. Hopefully he doesn't get chipped. Hopefully he gets double the gift, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Another funny, like my birthday is July 4th, and my brother, sometimes his birthday falls on Thanksgiving, so we used to joke with him that he was a turkey.
Oh, that's funny. Now I have to ask you. You sound too young to be a grandfather.
Oh no, I'm 51, so I'm right that age.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say you sound a lot younger than 51.
I think, believe it or not, I'm pretty much a happy-go-lucky guy, and I enjoy listening to music. Like I said, I talk to people about music, and that takes up a lot of my time. And I try to look on the, as they say, the sunny side of life.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm very much like that as well. I try to, be optimistic and exactly, just look on the bright side of life. You don't know what the future holds. You have to live for today.
Yeah. Okay, Pina. Well, I got a few other interviews to post before this one, but like I said, my plan is to post it within the next 2-week period. I will let you know as soon as I got a date for you, and then you can feel free to post it on the band's site or anywhere you want to post it, because we're talking about you, we're talking about the band, so wherever you feel appropriate to post it or share it.
All right, that sounds great. And actually, if everybody could just go to our website at voodoomoonshinerocks.com. Don't forget Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Spotify. Like, share, subscribe. Thank you.
And in closing, thanks for doing the interview today. And you got my word, but my site, Chaotic Riffs Magazine, and I will continue to promote the band any way we can. So again, anytime you guys got stuff to promote, feel free to let us know, and we're happy to help out.
Definitely will do. Thank you so much.
Take care.
Definitely appreciate it.
Bye-bye. Have a good day.
Have a good one. Yep, take care.
Chaotic Riffs Magazine